To solve this system of equations, we can either use the elimination method or the substitution method. In this case, the substitution method is a bit faster, so I'll start by showing you that one. Anytime we're using substitution method, you want to look at your coefficients and imagine you dividing every single term in the equation by that coefficient. For our second equation, if I were to divide everything by 3, we would have a lot of decimals, so that is not ideal. However, in the first equation, I could divide everything by 2, and we would have all whole numbers because everything is nice and even. So let's start there. We're going to try to isolate the variable x in the first equation. We'll need to add 4y to both sides, opposite operations. These will cancel, giving us 2x is equal to 12 plus 4y. Then 2 is being multiplied to x, so the opposite is dividing everything in the equation by 2. These will cancel, giving us x is equal to 6 divided by 2 is 6. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now we have found a value of x that we can substitute in to our equation. So let's plug that into our second equation and solve for y. There we will have 3 times x, which is 6 plus 2y, minus 2y is equal to 10. We'll do distributive property. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 2 will give us 6y, minus 2y is equal to 10. Then we'll combine like terms. 6y minus 2y will give us 4y. Then opposite operations, we'll subtract 18 from both sides. These will cancel, leaving us with 4y is equal to negative 8. And finally, we'll divide both sides by 4. And that will give us y is equal to negative 2. There is only one answer with a y value of negative 2, and that is answer choice D, our correct answer. Forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video. If you look through your answer choices and see that there are repeats in your x values, but that every y value is unique, the fastest method to solve the problem is always to solve for y first. Whether that's elimination or substitution, whatever will get you to solve for y the fastest is the fastest solution. In this case, it was substitution. Now we'll go through and finish the substitution method and show you how to do the elimination method as well. From here, we would take this value of y, negative 2, and plug it into one of our equations. I would recommend the first one. 2 times x minus 4 times negative 2 equals 12. And then we can solve for x. Negative 4 times negative 2 will give us a positive 8. And then we'll subtract 8 from both sides. These will cancel, giving us 2x is equal to 4. Then when we divide both sides by 2, I know that's hard to see, when we divide both sides by 2, we will get x is equal to 2, also showing us that D is our correct answer. Now we'll go back and set up the elimination method. When you are determining which variable you are going to try to solve for with elimination method, whether it's x or y, what you need to consider is which variable will require the least amount of multiplication to create the pair that we need. What I mean by that is if I were to try to get two x variables to say negative 6x and a positive 6x for elimination, what I would have to do is multiply both the first equation and the second equation by a number to have that match. And that's going to take more time than it would to try to get my y variables to match, because here 2 is already a multiple of 4. I can just multiply my second equation by 2 and then we are good to go. So let's just do that. 2 times 3x will give us 6x. 2 times negative 2y will give us a negative 4y. And then 2 times 10 will give us 20. Now I can put my first equation above that, and then the only other thing we need to do is multiply our bottom equation by a negative 1, otherwise just flipping all of our signs so that we can combine them as needed. Now these y variables will eliminate because they have opposite signs, and we can add the rest. 2x plus a negative 6x will give us negative 4x. That will be equal to 12 plus a negative 20 is negative 8. Then we'll need to divide both sides by negative 4. These will cancel, giving us x is equal to a positive 2. Now we need to take that positive 2 and plug it into one of our equations to solve for y. I'd recommend using that first one because it's all even numbers and that'll be easy mental math. We'll have 2 times x, which is 2, minus 4y is equal to 12. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 4y is equal to 12. And we'll need to do opposite operations. Subtract both sides by 4. This will cancel, giving us negative 4y is equal to 8. Then, when we divide both sides by negative 4, we will have y is equal to negative 2, also making D our correct answer.